Hello everyone, my name is Chelsea and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, it is Stuff Your Kindle Day. So this is like the first Stuff Your Kindle. We have quite a few things now that call themselves Stuff Your Kindle. I do love that this website actually mentions when they send you out their emails. The last like 2 or 3 times I want to say that while they were the first people to use the Stuff Your Kindle as an event type and things like that, they don't own the phrasing and they are very happy to let other people use it as well. But basically this is romancebookworms.com. I get their newsletter and they do sometimes have other stuff throughout. Like I know the last email I got from them was actually them promoting somebody else's Stuff Your Kindle Day, but this is their first one for 2025, and it did mention in the email that this is actually going to be the last one until Christmas of this year. So they have over 1,600 books that are free for Stuff Your Kindle Day. This might be a one-day only type of thing. I know in the past they've had some days where it was actually like, oh, the weekend, or 2 to 3 days, because they had so many authors. It can be a slog to get through sometimes, but at least for today, the day before you guys see this video, so you can definitely check this out and just see if any of the authors still have their books up for free. We have free books. Over 1,600 free books, pretty much romance books, to go through. One thing I absolutely love about this is they do allow different ways of organizing what you're looking for. So you do get to pick if you want Kindle, Apple Books, Barnes & Noble Nook, Kobo, Google Play. In general, it's Stuff Your Kindle because you're going to find most of these books for free on Amazon, which is pretty much the only book buying I do on Amazon nowadays. But if you do not have that available for you or you want to look at other options, a lot of them also do have it through other websites. But so I am going to be doing through Kindle. And then once you're on whatever like device type you're using, they have different ways to categorize their books. So they have different genre categories that you can separate everything into, which they've had for as long as I've known it. So they'll have like a young adult section, even though that is technically not a genre category, it's an age group. They will have that separately. They have mysteries with romantic elements. So again, not exactly romances, historical romance, science fiction romance, different types of fantasy romance, urban fantasy, paranormal romance. They also have some contemporary categories as well that they separate into. So romantic suspense, new adult and rom-com, women's fiction and chick lit, sweet contemporary romance, steamy contemporary romance, spicy contemporary romance, and dark romance, which is very, very helpful. They have a lot of different like tags you can sort of see as you go through, and so that's what we're going to be doing today. But one thing that I also love, and for the last, again, few times that I've done this, they for sure have had these categories, but you can also search by BIPOC authors that also have BIPOC protagonists, so it's Black, Indigenous, and people of color. You can search with books with LGBTQ+ protagonists, and also books written by disabled and neurodivergent authors, which again is another way of sort of categorizing the things that you want to look for, which again I love. Now, one thing that they have updated for this time, and they mentioned it, is you can actually browse by reading vibes as well. And since this is the first time that they've ever done this, I'm assuming that maybe we'll get more vibes in the future if they decide that this is a good system, but they want to change it a little bit. But currently, what they're showing here is we have cozy, heartwarming, magical, witchy, intense, angsty, dark, why choose sweet, steamy, or spicy? Like I said before, they do have a lot of different tags. Like as we go through the books, I think the authors potentially get to tell them what type of tags to put on the book. So you'll get like the different tropes, like friends to lovers, or enemies to lovers, or why choose, that kind of thing. But for now, we also now have vibe lists that you can say, all I want is cozy romance, or whatever that means to you. And then that should bring up all those kind of things, which I think is very, very exciting. So what we're basically doing today is I am going to just sort of see what I can find for Stuff Your Kindle. see exactly how many books I want from here. I don't always get a ton. I know some people will get hundreds of these books, which is great. If you're really wanting to try new authors, especially ones that you've never heard of before, books that you've never heard of before, these are pretty much like, they're all indie authors. I love Stuff Your Kindle Day for that, because sometimes if you're not too sure about an author or something, you don't know 100% if you want to spend a bunch of money to try out a new series or things like that. And I just absolutely love being able to pick like one book from an author and try it out to see if I would like to do more. And that's one of my favorite things about Stuff Your Kindle Day. So we're going to be browsing. One other thing I will say is that the way that they have it on Stuff Your Kindle, like on these romancebookworms.com, they don't show the covers. That is the one thing I wish would show up. But I bet because they have so many books on here, it's just like not feasible to really download all those covers on the website to make it still work. So what I will do in general is find what I want on their website, open the page on Amazon, since I am getting all of my free books that I'm doing for Stuff Your Kindle on Kindle, or I mean, technically I don't have a Kindle. I have an Apple phone and I have an app, a Kindle app that I can open up. And then I will double check the actual summary, because sometimes the summary here is not exactly what the summary is on the website, and double check the cover to see if it's AI or not. I do not support Gen AI in this house. I do not like the idea of people putting AI covers on their books because they're not supporting other artists. And we have had way too many authors, indie authors, now having proof of AI in their books. And so if you have an AI cover, it is more likely to me that you would probably have used Gen AI in your book in some way, which is not good. And it's not just indie authors that do this. We had a guy who is a traditionally published author recently come out with his new book being like almost 100% AI written by him, but like he did it. And then also his memoir recently also had fake details in it. I don't know. I do not like the idea of supporting people that are going to be using that instead of their own human nature to create. So let's get that out of the way now. If you ever see me talk about a book that looks like it has an AI cover and stuff, let me know, because I try my best to determine if it is myself, and then I just won't read it. Like, I'm not gonna like bash people for it necessarily, but I'm not gonna be picking it up. So yes, I think I usually browse by genre first, and so that's what we're gonna do today. Okay, so if we go into the genre categories, I usually skip, I'm just going to tell you the things that I usually do. I usually skip young adult. I'm not opposed to young adult, and I have picked up some young adult titles from Stuff Your Kindle Days and things like that. It's just in general, I don't find myself gravitating toward that age range as much. I will usually also skip historical romance, because I do not usually read those like hardly at all. I will usually check out fantasy romance, romantasy, urban fantasy, paranormal romance, and sci-fi, so all the SFF categories. And then for contemporary, I will usually check out most of them. I sort of stay away from dark romance and the spicy contemporary romance, which they also say is erotic romance. I will skip that as well, but I will usually still check out the sweet romances, steamy romances, rom-coms, new adult, that kind of thing, just to sort of see what we have here. Like, I have no idea what we're going to be finding today. I love that you can just sort of click on a category and it'll take you, so I'll probably skip the first three. I do enjoy mysteries with romantic elements, but I think I want to go straight into like the fantasy and romantasy and all those genre fiction romances. So that's what we're going to be doing. And so now, as you can see, we just have titles, author, a short summary, which like I said is usually shorter than what you would see on the website. And then we will get some keywords. So like the first one here, Empress of the Dark by Laura Greenwood. Keywords are fantasy romance, romantasy, mythology, forbidden romance, standalone, shifter. And I will usually check those first, because I personally have some like keywords that I gravitate towards, and then also some like hard no's almost. So I really will love things that have like fake dating, friends to lovers, that kind of stuff. I will usually say a hard no to, I mean, every so often I think you'll get like a stepbrother romance, and that's usually not my thing. Like, I probably could read some that are like a very different vibe than like what you would normally get. Certain age gap ones, technically I'm in an age gap myself. My husband's 10 years older than me, but sometimes it depends on like the age of the characters. So I find going for keywords first really, really helpful. And then anything that I think would be interesting, I will usually just right click, open a new tab, go to Amazon, and then it will show me the cover, and I will literally hover over and double check if anything looks AI. I can tell you right now, this is not. This is definitely a Photoshop sort of situation where they got a cover model photo from like a stock site, and the wings are probably separate, and then they had somebody actually come in and do it, which is great. So like I will double check that myself. And then as you can also see here, the summary is a little bit longer than what we saw on the website. This is also Forgotten Gods Book 7, which it didn't tell us before. So depending on if these are standalones, and it does say can be read as a standalone, if it's a standalone or not, that is how I will double check if I want to get it or not. I don't think I'm gonna have you guys listen to me talk about all of my what I want or what I don't want, but you guys can browse with me for a little bit, and then maybe at the end I will come back and let you guys know what I actually picked. so we're back. I have looked at all of the books in as many ways as possible. You probably saw me jumping through like the different genres. I definitely went through all of the fantasy, sci-fi, paranormal fantasy, urban fantasy, that kind of stuff. I also ended up at near the end going through rom-coms, and then I was trying out the vibes. I tried cozy, I tried magical, I tried why choose, because I do like that sometimes. Again, I have some like, I don't do mafia stuff, I don't do dark romance, I don't do certain things, so like even if it has one characteristic, like the vibe was right, but if the other parts, the tropes weren't, obviously I was probably not going to choose that. And then I also looked through some of the BIPOC authors and LGBTQ and disability stuff. I did find some stuff that I already picked up. Like I would go through, add my stuff to Amazon, just so I could look through it more in depth. And every so often I would have checked again. Like a book that I bought earlier when I was looking through fantasy type of stuff popped up again when I was looking through like the LGBTQ things. So that did happen. I ended up getting 26 items, it looks like, 26 books. And so I'm just going to run through them pretty quickly. The first one is Hawk Witch by Ashley McLeo, book 1 in the Bone Gate series. This is an author that I have heard of before. I don't think I've read anything from them. It does say it's a YA fantasy series, but it has like deadly competition stuff, and I didn't pick it up in the YA section because I told you before I skipped that part. I think this was in the like fantasy romance or romantasy section, so we will definitely try that out. Then I also picked up Melodies and Maledictions by Maddox Gray. This one is another romantasy sort of one, and it says it's going to be a fast-paced, spicy queer romantasy that is a prequel novella to Of Silver and Curses, which I have not heard of, but I like the idea because I liked the summary as well of a novella to get me into this world. Perfect for fans of stabby, morally gray characters, fated mates, forced proximity, banter, and all the found family vibes. I do really love that. I also picked up Half-Blood Academy, book 1, Magic Trials by Meg Shui-Mei X. I might have been saying that a little bit wrong, but this is going to be why choose, I'm pretty sure. Rule 1, keep your head down and don't mess with the 4 gorgeous demigods who rule the school, and Rule 2, when the demigods try to kill you, lie down. I don't know much else about it. I think it does have some more sort of magical trials because again, that's sort of in the title of the book, which is why I picked it up, and we'll just sort of see how it goes. Again, these books are free, and a lot of these are authors that I have not tried stuff from before, so again, if I like it, great. If I try it and it's not my thing, that's fine too. The next one that I picked up was Magic and Matchmaking by T. Harlow. I really like the sort of like cozy vibes of the cover. And this is a desperate witch inheriting a tea shop, a famous bard needing a break, and the fake dating scheme that could help them both. Fake dating with this sort of cozy fantasy romance, like I definitely want that. It does say it's Legends and Lattes meets Bridgerton. We're definitely gonna try it out. The next one I picked up is Into a Wicked World by Jordan Riley Swan. This is supposed to be, it says a clean and wholesome romantic reimagining of The Wizard of Oz. I personally don't like the term clean for romances because, I mean, we've all had this topic in conversation before, but I don't mind romances that don't have on-page stuff or it's fade to black, that kind of thing. And that wasn't listed on there when I first was looking into the summary and stuff, but basically this is about The Wizard of Oz, and our main character is Dorothy Gale, who gets swept into Oz, but I'm pretty sure she falls for the Tin Man or something, and I'm just very, very curious. I really love this cover as well. Then we have Must Love Moss and Moonshine by Maisie McGill. This one I'm pretty sure is also going to be another cozy one. It says what to expect: grumpy sunshine romance, cinnamon roll gentle giant, cheeky independent heroine, memory loss and amnesia, found family, spice, super cozy cottagecore and forestcore vibes, just one bed. I mean, a lot of these are checking off my boxes. Small town vibes, happily ever after guaranteed. It is a prequel to a series, but again, we're gonna try it out. Then I also picked up Curse and Kingdom by Ember Blackthorn. This is one that I'm not 100% sure about, but because it was free, I did pick it up. 3 cursed brothers, 1 a warrior, 1 an assassin, 1 a prince. The girl is supposed to be nerdy, but the summary doesn't give me a ton. It says it's an ongoing fantasy romance series with magic and enchantment and stuff like that. We'll see. I just didn't get enough from the summary. Then we also have Held by Magic by L.J. Swallow. I will say this cover is not my favorite. I find these covers done a lot in this sort of like urban fantasy type of stuff where they have a girl, a woman on it, and there's like some sort of magic. But it's not AI, so that is always a plus. This is for fans of a slow burn, supernatural romance, protective anti-heroes, multiple love interests, and snarky heroines. I do believe that means it's probably why choose. It is a complete fantasy series, and it says, I'm a half-demon thief with 3 simple rules. Steal to order, get paid, stay alive. But where is my rule against falling for 3 supernatural guys who saved my life and won't let me go? We're gonna try. The next one is Work Shift by T.A. Moore. This one is going to be male-male romance, and it says, all Officer Kit Marlowe wanted was a cup of tea and some downtime before his next night shift. Instead, he got a naked man in his elevator and an unaccounted-for dead girl in the morgue. He's going to need to deal with both before he can head to bed. I do personally like these sort of more mystery type of stories as well, so this is definitely one I wanted to check out. Then we have Born Under a Bad Sign by Rachel Rawlings. Luck just isn't in the cards for Isabel Arden. A down on her luck witch, Isabel Arden reads the cards to earn a living, and her clients all have one thing in common. They keep dying. 1 is a coincidence, but 2 in as many days? Yeah, I'm assuming not a coincidence, and I definitely want to see where this is going to go. The next one I picked up is Amethysts Alchemy by Rachel Runner. This one was actually 99 cents. I still bought it anyway because it has been on my radar for a while. This actually has been on my radar for a while because I definitely need to try. This is about a woman who like I guess eats rocks and can get magic and stuff from that. We'll see how that goes. And then she also has like an emotional support pig. From my understanding, I think our main character is neurodivergent in some way. I just don't know exactly what. But I've been very intrigued by this since before it came out. So even though it wasn't technically free, I did pick this one up. Then we have Royals of Villain Academy, books 1 through 4 actually. So this was a box set by Eva Chase. So this is an author that I have heard of before, and I've just been curious about a lot of the books. So the fact that this was a box set as well, kids are gonna play the drums, is very interesting. A long lost heir to dark magic royalty, a brutal power she never wanted, but these villains aren't giving her a choice. It does say to know that there are some bully elements in the first 2 books. I am okay with bully romance depending on the amount of it and who is doing it and how things happen from there. So this is one of those ones that like I would try it and then we'll see where we go. Then I also picked up A Guide to Ghosting by Emily Antoinette. This is one that again, I'm not 100% sure about, but because it was free, we're gonna try it because basically this one has a woman who is a ghost and she died before she was able to find love, and she, I think, is stuck in this apartment, and then somebody moves into the apartment because obviously she doesn't actually live there anymore, and it ends up being the guy who ghosted her in the past, and so yeah. The next one we have here is Academy of Unpredictable Magic, the complete series, book 1 through 6 apparently, by Sadie Moss. So this one is going to be a Why Choose romance. It is going to be like a university sort of academy setting, which I do prefer. I don't prefer the high school settings. Academy, university, those are great. And she is 22 and apparently from a magical bloodline, but she really doesn't have any powers. And then something happens and I think she does have explosive powers and things are gonna happen from there. The next one that I have here is Wicked Wings by Elizabeth Briggs. It's the first book in the Seraphim Academy. So again, like I said, academy, university, great. And apparently this is about a girl who people think she is half human, half angel, which is why it's Seraphim Academy, but she's actually half demon or devil instead. And she is going there because her brother is missing and she's trying to figure out what happened. I don't know anything else. Then the next one I picked up is Storm Warning by Ray Simmons. This should be another male-male romance. They said it's sort of like Twister and Twisters, because technically two different movies, inspired, about a guy who is sort of like a storm chaser and the one that got away, and we'll see what happens. Then I also have Drawn to You by Evangeline Everton. This is about a guy who does like comics, and he is at like a sort of convention thing and gets put into a room with his biggest fan. The only thing is nobody actually knows who is the comic artist, but now his publisher is like wanting him to come out being like, this is who I am, but he's falling for her and isn't sure what she's gonna think. So yeah. I also picked up Deceiving the Cursed Beast by Jen Linning. This is going to be a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I am a sucker for retellings, and I'm pretty sure we all know Beauty and the Beast is one of the best ones. And so this is a banter-filled Beauty and the Beast retelling. It is the first book in a series, but it looks like everything is a standalone different type of fairy tale. And so I definitely want to try this. Then I also have a Star Pilot's Fearless Rebel. I think this one is also Why Choose. It says it's for fans of Firefly and Star Wars, and so it definitely got me. Apparently, this woman's ex returns to her ship because he's assigned there. And then we also have a shy techie, a flirty bounty hunter, a demanding soldier, and a caring doctor. So we'll see how that goes. It's supposed to be space opera, and I definitely want to see. Then I technically picked up 3 books in a series, because the first one is Orange Sky, the second one is Orange Town, and the third one is Orange Lake, all by Ali Tatum. These are sci-fi romances, Why Choose romances, but only Orange Lake was on the list for the Stuff Your Kindle Day. All 3 were free, so I didn't pay anything for these, but there was a part on one of the descriptions for book 3 that said you cannot read it as a standalone, and I thought it said you could read it as a standalone, but then I wanted to double check what other books they had, because it was book 3 obviously, and it had the same character names, and so I was like, you know what, I think I read that wrong, and I double checked, and I did. But like I said, I just downloaded all 3 of them because they were all free. I will start with book 1 obviously because they are all interconnected. Then the next one is Wallflower Witch by Rachel Bonifay and Rossick Claiborne. I'm so sorry if I said that wrong. This is book 2 in the Cursed Coven of Spells Hollow, but this does have individual books where every single one is like a new witch. And this one is about Morrigan, who spent her childhood running from the ghost of people's past because she can see ghosts and she wants to fit in. And I do love that premise, so yeah. Then I also picked up A Sky of Storms by Chloe Hodge and Rebecca Cam. This one is going to have more trials in it. Magical trials, one of my favorite things. It says that the Terulian Trials, which is the title of the series, is a steamy urban fantasy series brimming with mystery, magic, and blood. Recommended for fans that enjoy the humor and fun of Zodiac Academy, the brutality of the Hunger Games, and the steaminess of the bonds that tie. I am curious because, again, magical trials, romance, yeah. And the next one I picked up is Model Citizen by Lissa Casey. This is going to be another male-male mystery detective romance type of thing. I have read stuff from this author before that I really did enjoy, and so I have not read this series. It's the first one in a series, but basically this follows 2 characters trying to figure out a murder that was caught on camera but not the killer. One is a private investigator who's trying to figure this out. The other one is a retired Marine, and I'm pretty sure like brother's best friend type of situation. I think the brother died previously. Yeah, shattered by the death of his brother. Ollie is struggling. So we do have some mental health things usually in Lissa Casey books, which I previously have liked the representation there, so I want to check this one out. And then actually finally, I have Stranger Than Fan Fiction by Piper Sheldon. This one is going to be in that rom-com sort of category. Rule number 1 of former child stardom: never search yourself online in the midst of a pity party because you'll inevitably do something stupid. I think this is another one of those sort of mistaken identities, like he is a former childhood star. I'm pretty sure it's a him, and she's a fan. and she doesn't realize the person she's talking to is that guy. It does say on somewhere that I was reading it, this is like epistolary, where it's like they have the letters back and forth type of thing, so we will have that in the book as well, and that was the last one that I picked up. So like I said earlier, this did have 1,600 different books, and I could have missed things. There was also things that are very intriguing, however, I picked them up in the last or second to last Stuff Your Kindle day. So like there are things that sometimes authors will put up every single time. There are other ones that are brand new that I've never heard of before. Let me know if you picked up anything from this Stuff Your Kindle day. I love the idea of getting to find books and new authors that you've never heard of before, because quite a few of these I've never heard of the actual author, but I'm very excited to try something out, because once I try something out, if I know I want to read more, I am perfectly fine spending hard-earned money on ebooks to do that, because a lot of indie authors have ebooks and it's easier to get a hold of that way. But yeah, ultimately not too bad. Like I said, I think it was what, 26-ish titles, and a couple of those actually were bind ups, so I didn't count every single individual book that way. But yeah, let me know if you guys bought anything. I am always excited when this stuff happens, but like I said, I think they said that this one specifically from romancebookworms.com won't have another sale until around Christmas. So just keep that in mind. There are other people that do Stuff Your Kindle as well. It'll just be from a different website that like compiles everything. This is probably one of the biggest ones ever. And so if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up to let me know. Subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more videos. I do have videos coming out Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. So I will see you then. Bye.